Hello, my name's Mandy and this is my channel Make It Sew. So how are you all? I just wanted to say a really big apology for my leave of absence. Since November, when I done my last sewing chat makes and plans video, a lot has been going on in my life that isn't sewing related, so I just had to take a little leave of absence to concentrate on that, because I'm going to be changing my job. I have changed my job. From Monday, when you're seeing this, I will actually be starting a brand new career. So for 2 months, December and January, I had to concentrate on applying for that and had to give YouTube a miss. So I'm really sorry that all you've seen of me for the last few months is unboxings and the whip challenge, which I'll be able to show you what I completed in a little while. So other than that, I have been busy. I've still been doing bits of sewing, just not as much. And I've also been meeting up with some lovely sewing people, and I went to Walthamstow Market last month, it is still last month at the moment, in January, and got a few fabrics and met up and had some socials at Scothern Sewcial and Surrey Sews and Redhill Sewing. So it has been still a sewing adventure, but just died down a bit or dampened down a bit, should I say, because yeah, I've just had to concentrate on life and things happen. We have to do it from time to time, but you'll probably be fed up with me by the end of March, because I'm going to try and make it up to you all. So firstly, I had my birthday last month, so I got some lovely sewing gifts from people, and unfortunately they're not here to show you because I had to have a major tidy up of my room as well. So I thought, no, I'm just going to put them away and they will surface at some point and I'll show you when I use them. And I did also get some lovely gift vouchers, because you'll find out in a minute why. But I am going to be doing the last sewist standing, so they're like my get out of jail free cards, if you will, because I may need something, but at least I'm not breaking the rules if I haven't paid for it. I think that's how it goes, I don't know. So yes, I left my job in the NHS last Friday, but you would have seen this on Monday, so that's the Friday before last, because I wanted to have a week off and I had all these mad ideas of doing all this sewing, and the week's just gone. Same as this year. So I thought I'd come on here and show you what I made since I last did my last makes vlog. So not much happened November, December. I've got a few bits to show you from there, but what I've made up till now, so you can see what I've been up to. So the first thing I made, which was still at the end of November, just after my last makes video, was from my Handmade Wardrobes Weekend Sewing Club, and I am one of the vlogging team, so we get to get sneak peeks of Sarah's creations and get to sew them up to have a go. So the first one I made was this, and I will put pictures in because I know it's not always easy to see it so well just being held up, but this is the Tap to Party cow neck top, and I made this in this gorgeous tealy blue velvet because I've got quite a few velvet pieces of fabric, so I've got plans to make some more. But it's got this gorgeous cow neck detail, and when I was sewing it up I did have to think about it for a bit, because the shape it is in when you first cut it out is totally different to how it's going to look. But it was lovely, and the sew along that Sarah did as part of the Weekend Sewing Club is really detailed and lots of tips there, so next time I make this I won't be so confused. But it was a lovely top to make, it came up really quickly, it's got some lovely binding in where the arm side is, and it's just a simple top, doesn't use much fabric at all, but it looks really effective, and that's a gorgeous party top. So that was my make that I did just after my last vlog. And then another my Handmade Wardrobes Weekend Sewing Club make, which was in December, which was the sofa pants, and I had this very bright pink ponte in my fabric stash, and I thought that would be lovely to make a pair of the sofa pants. So again, I will hold them up to show you, but the actual pictures I'll put next to me so you can see what they look like on. but I had this bias binding, and I was originally going to do a bias binding strip down the side, because one of Sarah's ideas in her pattern is you can do some trim to just dress them up a bit. But this bias binding came from an advent calendar I had a couple of years ago, Becky's Sewing Studio. So what I did was I just sewed it by folding it in half, sewed it up and then tied the knots. So I thought that looked really nice with that pink fabric behind it. And what I like about these is they have pockets, so they're really lovely and comfortable, great loungewear set. I would like to now make one of Sarah's sweater weather tops that I've had a few goes at, just to make it into a proper loungewear set. But I'm really happy, and the pink ponte was lovely to work with. Can't remember where I got it from, it was in my stash, so it's been used and it looks amazing, so I'm very happy with that. Now the next make, I feel like I'm rushing through this, the next make I did was actually for a gift for my friend Claire. And last year, I think it was last year, I made her a penguin plushie, and Night and Fabrics actually bought out a whole range of puddle penguin stuff, and then they bought out a female version. Now I've said puddle penguin, but it's not, it's Pebble Penguin, the lady version. So I've got a picture here to show you so you can see what she looked like, but I made that for Claire so that Puddles had a companion, so she got that for her birthday. And inside the bag, I think I took a picture, you actually made a pebble as well, so that went inside, and it had a little jacket and handbag, so that was a lovely thing to make for her, and I hope she liked it. I think she did. So that was all my December makes. So on to January. So I didn't make lots in December, and I only made some crackers for the table for the Christmas themed stuff I was hoping to do. I had loads of ideas. I'd even thought about doing Vlogmas at one point, and then luckily the sensible part of my brain said you're not going to have a chance to do that, so I didn't. So January. So as you know, I took part in the vlogging tour for Finish That Whip 2026, and I had all the ambitions to finish quite a few that had been growing in my Kallax box. I did manage to actually finish all the 4 that I talked about, which was my aim. So I do still have some unfinished whips, unfortunately, but I'm not so worried because I've done 4 big ones. So the first thing I haven't got with me physically, because it's on my daughter's bed, but it was a quilt I was talking about that needed finishing, and I'd had it in there since she was about 6 or 7. So I did finish that one, which I'll put a picture, and she loves it still. I mean, she's 17, so that shows you how long I've had it, but she's still got it on her bed and she really loves it, and she says it's nice and warm, so that's good. And the binding I did around the edges went really well, and I managed to mitre 3 out of the 4 perfectly, and then the last one decided to play up, and I just thought I can't unpick it. She doesn't mind. It's not got to be totally perfect. It looks nice. I'm not too bothered. And I used a lovely label from Avid Sews that said Quilty Love on it. So very happy that I finally got that quilt out of a Kallax box, because that did take up a lot of room. So the next one I did for the whip challenge was, and I've got pictures luckily so you'll be able to see it better, but this was the Sew Over It Farrah jumpsuit, and I had it in this purple cotton drill. I made some notes on this. When I started cutting it, it stumped me what length to do the trousers, because it was so long ago that I did this that I wasn't quite up to scratch with realising that all people are different sizes. I'm tall compared to what the pattern's created for. I have a different rise to a lot of people, but I cut them out, and luckily they were okay. I think because it was a bit baggy fit anyway, I got away with it. And also I had gained weight, so when I tried this on, it didn't do up, but luckily I've lost that weight now, so it does. But I also found that where I'd pinned all the pattern pieces onto the fabric, the pins had gone rusty. And when I undone them, luckily they hadn't affected the fabric. So I could actually carry on with this make, so I would have been really disappointed if I couldn't. And I also wondered if I'd have enough fabric to finish it, because I'd meanwhile decided to use some of the fabric to cut out some sew over it Kira shorts, which are in my whip pile, because at the time I couldn't do the middle up again, but I've tried them on since, and because I've lost that weight I can now do that, so I'm going to finish them very soon. But it's not really shorts weather at the moment, is it? Anyway, so I did have enough fabric, just I managed to just about make sure it had everything it needed. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see these really well, but I used these lovely buttons I'd got a while ago, and I used a Cozy Club Handmade label which says very limited edition, one of a kind, and I used some variegated thread everywhere for the top stitching, which I absolutely love. So again, I'm hoping you'll see that on the camera, and it just fit really nicely. So another whip done, which I was really pleased about, so I'm looking forward to wearing that. And it did give me Top Gun vibes, so you'll see from the photos that I managed to use some little clever creation to make it look like I was on a air base, but I wasn't. And then the third whip I finished was my daughter's pyjama top, because I haven't cut out the bottoms, so they're not really a whip as such, but that's the next thing to do. I used another Cozy Club Handmade label made with a latte love, or handmade with a latte love, and I managed to pattern match the checks, which I was really happy about. And these buttons I think came from Becky's Sewing Studio again in the advent calendar, so I've done really well with that advent calendar. But my daughter absolutely loves it. She's just waiting for the pyjama bottoms to go with it, and hopefully that will be before the warmer weather comes. But we really like this classic pyjama pattern by Ellie and Mac, and it is a free pattern, and the bottoms have pockets as well, and they just have it's a lovely cut, so we really enjoy those pyjamas. So I have made a few now. And then the final one I made in January was the Sew Over It Xanthe skirt in this gorgeous dark forest green needle cord, which I'd bought from Roy's Material World at one of the stitch shows. I think it was the knitting and stitching show, because I always had ideas of making a green skirt. So I do love the pattern. It is very complex for me in that it's got lots of stages, and you have, I don't know if you'll be able to tell from here, but you have this unusual pocket insert where you have to sort of flip it over as you're going and go around all the corners. So that is an unusual way of doing them, and I think I do want to try another skirt pattern with a slightly different pocket on the front, but I love it. It fits really nicely. I think I made this one in the size 18. The Farrow jumpsuit was a 16, by the way. And then I just got, you can go online and get all these different patterns for the back pocket detail, which is really good. I can't remember what company it was. If I can, I'll put it on here. But I managed to get like 50 different patterns that you could download if you wanted to. But again, I used variegated thread, and I just love how that looks on this green. And because I had my special tool for sewing buttonholes on thicker fabrics now, this time, because last time I had to do a fake button on my other Xanthe skirt, but I managed to actually do a proper buttonhole this time and use a denim button. So very happy with that one too. So that was my January makes. So on to February. I haven't made a lot to show you. Purely because time and work, everything is just taken over February, and it just feels like so far this year has just whizzed by. So I did do a pattern test, but I can't show you that until it's released, but that didn't take me too long. But then I was thinking, because I'm starting a new role and I won't have uniform to start with, I need to have some smart trousers to wear. And I think you'll remember, if you've watched me before, that I do love the Friday Pattern Company Saguaro pants, and I made my daughter some in black fabric which had these lovely white pinstripes down, but she liked them too much, and I wasn't allowed to keep them because I did like them. So I've made my own version, and this is actually again a pinstripe fabric, and I'm going to stand up to show you, but it's navy, and I will put pictures in so you can see them properly. But I just love the elasticated waist, I love the pockets. I don't know if you can see the pattern matching if I line them up. They do line up normally, but I've been wearing them all day, and they're just comfiest pair of trousers ever. So that's those. So I made them, they're quite a quick make, so they don't take long at all, and I took them with me to the Scothern Sewcial, made them up there. And I made another pair in some teal suiting fabric, and I bought this one at Walthamstow Fabrics. I have actually, I'm trying to think where I got my pinstripe fabric. I think that was from Legend Textiles, but again, I've had it a while. It was in my stash and I was just like, I need to make some trousers. And this is the other version that I made. So slightly different because they're plain. Most of the ones I've made so far have been patterned, but I did put a label in that one. Thanks, I made it. And I think I've got one in here as well that says wardrobe staple from Specky Seamstress. Get my tongue in. Specky Seamstress. And these ones I think are Little Rosy Cheeks. I'm sure they are. If I've got it wrong, please correct me, because I have so many labels now that I forget where I've got them from. But they were just two really speedy pairs of trousers that can look smart, as well as you can make them in whatever fabric you want, and it just shows that you can make the trouser look totally different depending what fabric you use. So they're my two smart pairs of Saguaro pants. And then the only other thing I've made so far is something for Plymouth frock tails. Now this is what I intended to make for Plymouth frock tails, the fabric I used. It was something that I'd bought in America in June last year when I went to Mood Fabrics, and it was this fabric with all the champagne bottles and cocktail glasses and everything. But I was stumped as to what to actually make with it, because it is jersey, and I thought I want it to look quite dressy and I want it to be comfortable. So I went back to one of my old favourites, which is the Named Clothing Keilo wrap dress, because it's made for 5'8", so I don't need to do any adjustments to the length. I make it in a size 16 and it fits me perfectly, so I'm really happy with it. And I was making this because Sam, So Let's Sparkle with Sam, did a frock, trying to think what she called it now, but she did a session last Sunday where you could all make up frocks for Plymouth frock tails or for a special event that you had. So that sort of got me motivated to get on with it. So I've finished it. Not necessarily the one I'm going to wear for Plymouth frock tails, because I have got another one in mind, but it's a case of if I don't get time to make that, I will be definitely wearing this one. And I just thought it's a nice one for any type of party, whether it's informal or formal. But I also put a lovely Cozy Club Handmade label on that says Porty Outfit, and on the back, this is my Porty outfit. So I will show you pictures of me in that as well, so you can get to see it in full. But I just love the style of it. I did the long sleeve version as well because it's going to be March still, so it will be quite cold, so I don't want to be freezing, but it's just really comfortable. So I just want to be comfortable rather than feeling a bit, you know, uncomfortable. But it's just a nice stretch, so it will be nice to dance in, and I'm really happy with how that turned out. So that's what I've made. I'm going to tell you what I'm planning now, because the only thing with my training is it's going to be Monday to Friday every day, so obviously my time for sewing is going to be limited, but I'm hoping that I have the energy to do some in the evenings. If not, I have got the weekends. But firstly, I forgot to say that I also got to meet up with a lovely viewer during the week this week. Well, it's last week for you now. I keep forgetting. But I met up with a lovely lady called Rosie, and she was had some fabric to give me that she thought I would like, which I haven't got with me, but it was very kind of you, Rosie, to give me that. But she also made me a couple of lovely gifts as well. And one of them is this mug rug, which I think is amazing and very clever how people can do that. But that is going to be on my sewing desk. And then she also made me this needle minder out of cork, and it's got all the different needles on the side with the number of the needle as well, so I can just hang that up and have needles in it and know where I was, because at the moment I do tend to stick them in my sewing machine mat and then forget was it left or right that I had stretch ones. So I'm really thankful for these. Thank you so much, Rosie, and it was really lovely to meet you, and I can't wait to do it again. So plans coming up. Well, I've started on a new backpack for my new job because I thought why not, and I'm going to be making the noodle head maker's backpack. I say going to, I actually attended Walpole Sewing Social yesterday and the Norwich Socials Sewing Social today, because I'm filming this on Saturday, and I'm halfway through doing it, and I'm really excited to show you it once it's finished. I'll just give you a sneak peek of what lining I'm using. This is the Cafe Facet fabric that I bought when I was in America last year, and then I've got some teal needle cord for the outer pieces, which are left over from my heyday dungarees. So I'm trying to be frugal at the same time. And then another thing I'll be getting up to this week is I'm going to be doing a collaboration with my lovely friend Laura, who is So Very Laura, and I told her that I wanted to make a few easy blouses and shirts for my new role while I don't have my uniform, but I didn't want to spend lots of time on them. And we both have the pattern that we'd picked up from a swaps table. She got hers a couple of months ago and I got mine a couple of weeks ago, and it's the Blouse by Avid Seamstree, and it just looks very simple. I think there's 4 pattern pieces on it, so I'm going to hopefully make one of those, and Laura's going to be doing one as well, and then we can reveal to you what we made, and it'll be good to compare how using the same pattern but totally different fabrics makes them look once they've made up. So I'm really looking forward to doing that, and I'm hoping it isn't a long sew, because it doesn't look like there's too many steps in that one, because there's no cuffs or anything, so we shall see. I've also got, I have been buying fabrics, but again, because it's been so long since I saw you last, I didn't really want to bombard you with everything I've been buying, but I had picked up some of this dot cotton fabric from Fabric Obsession, and as soon as I saw purple fabric, it was in my basket, so I bought that over a month ago. So I'm going to be making the Tilly and the Buttons Bertha cardigan. So I've cut out the actual, I've traced it, I've been very good, I've traced a pattern, but I had to lengthen it a bit because I'm scared it'll be too short for me. So because of the shaping it is, I'm hoping I've done it right, and I'll let you know how I get on with that and whether it was the right thing to do. I've also want to make a couple of Freya tops again to go with these trousers, and then of course we've got Plymouth frock towels, and that's only 2 weeks time, so I can't wait to go to that. But before that I have got another Scothern Sewcial to go to, so I'm still living it up in the sewing world. And then of course Last Sew Standing starts on the 1st of March, so that's next weekend, and I've decided to go in at the heavyweight level, so it means I won't be buying anything related to sewing, no fabric, no notions, nothing, because I think I've got plenty here that I should be able to last throughout the challenge. But like I said to you, I have got some gift cards so that if I do need to buy something as such, because it will stop me making a project, then I will be able to get it because someone's kindly gifted me that. So I'm hoping you'll follow me along with that. I'll feel like it's a weekly confession of how good I've been. But it'll be just really good to go through my stash and be mindful of what I'm using, because it has got out of hand, it has overwhelmed me quite a bit, and I just think I need to focus on what I've got, I've been putting bits on fabric swaps tables as well, which has been quite therapeutic, and seeing someone else's eyes light up when they see it. So I'm doing a bit of good as well, I think, and it'll help me to manage what I've got. So I will let you know how I'm getting on with that. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't rumble on too long, and I can't wait to show you what I make this week and the collaboration with Laura. That's very exciting. So give me a thumbs up if you haven't already. And if you don't subscribe, I'd love you to help my channel grow. So take care, and if you can find some time to sew this week, make it so. Bye.